Welcome everybody to the second podcast. Welcome, James. This is our second one, mate.
I know. I'm really excited.
Second
I'm really excited. How we doing? How we doing? All right?
Yeah, I'm all right. I literally just flown back from seeing my 97-year-old nan.
I know.
Rush through the door. Yeah, rush through the door. Yeah, she's all right, but she did confuse me when I walked in, and she was getting a bit confused and that. But she's nearly 98. Come on, she's like, I haven't seen her for over a year because of obviously everything going on. But she, yeah, she's a year ago when I saw her, she was still walking with an aid of a stick, and she was still making cups of coffee and making me cakes and stuff.
Was she still going at raving? Still going
yeah, she's still raving. Yeah, she's about 4'0". She's from Glasgow, and she had ginger hair. She's got gingery grey now, but she's she was a proper old bird.
So she is the official OG then.
She is hardcore, like an OG. Mate. She is hardcore. She's the Don Corleone of the Knight family.
Mate, that's good. That's good. And as you said there, because of COVID and things, it's nice to go and see loved ones. And as you said, what a lovely day.
Yeah, really nice.
So second podcast. And we might have even hinted on the first podcast who we would want as our guest. And, if you don't ask, you don't get these days.
No, and we always ask.
Definitely. So if you've seen the title, or if you've seen the banner, or you've seen the photos, or you've heard, or you've seen a post, you'll know that today we've got the legend himself, Kola Flipper. So for those that don't know Kola Flipper or Lee, we'll do you a little bit of information about him. So Lee has a YouTube channel and he has an Instagram channel. Currently on YouTube, he is at the almighty 2.6k subscribers. Wow. The guy is absolutely smashing it. And he's got 73 videos up there. So he's not someone who's just started. He's got plenty of content out there. So if you haven't seen his videos, go out and check it. And his most viewed video, which is one that I definitely watched, was about how to clean them Ugg boots, which has got a whopping 22,000. Wow, 22,000. Okay, it's amazing.
I think I told you, didn't I? I used to work for a place called Emu, for a company, and
you did Emu. You did
Emu boots, and I'll give you little tips and hit. Not as good as Lee's, obviously, but
you said tips. You definitely said tips then.
Tips, definitely said tips.
Yeah. Good. It's not that show. It's not that show.
No, it's not that kind of show.
And then also on Instagram, he's got a nice following as well, 1.6k as well. So he is absolutely smashing it on all directions. And he's also got an amazing car.
He has got a nice car. Yeah, we're just talking about that.
So that is a bit of Lee. And if you don't know him, then who are you? But you're going to get to know him on this show. But without further ado, we're going to bring the man, the myth, the legend himself, Lee Kola Flipper, to join us on our second podcast. Here he comes.
Hello, Lee.
Hello, Lee.
How are you doing? Yeah,
not
good.
Thanks, not too bad.
Good. Not been out in the pool
quite
today.
A lot there.
I've been working. Well, it's all facts. It's all in black and white. It's there.
That UGG video. I've made more from that UGG video than I do selling Uggs. So
really, oh, that's cool. Cool. Yeah, so I used to work for a company that did all the sheepskin stuff. So we did all the Emu sheepskin boots and stuff like that. And we used to have the proper kits with the stone in it, the liquids, and all your waterproofing liquids and your brushes and that. So yeah, it's quite enjoyable getting them from bad to good.
It's quite you feel like an accomplishment, but it's just seeing from start to finish how it goes. It's amazing what you can do, but it's making money with a bit of putting some effort in.
Just a bit
There's always money to be made. If you can see that's dirty, but I know I can fix it, you can make money.
Definitely. It's what I try. I'll be honest. I did attempt to try and do your repair. It didn't go so well. I got some like black Uggs the boot sale last year. My mate Ben, who watches the podcast, will remember me picking them up. And I tried to repair them and restore them. And don't get me wrong, they were better than what they were. But the biggest benefit was I think I paid 50p and I sold them for a tenner. But I was expecting I was going to repair them and they're going to look amazing. I'll be able to match my foot. I'm going to make them look brand new, but no. But what I did learn is that, and as I've now started doing more suede items, is you actually need quite a bit to kind of do it properly. And
there's a few bits of kit you need.
the more bits of kit you have, and the better quality the pieces of kit that you use, the more it's going to help restore and bring them items back to life. You know, I think at the time, I think I bought like a cheap Amazon kit for a tenner, and it did all right. But had I had paid 40-50 pounds on all the good stuff, it would have done wonders. So
I've got essentially, you know, you can get those beauty cases that beauticians have. I've got one of
Yep.
those which is full of
Hell
different
with
shoe
stuff.
polishes, creams, brushes, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And I didn't go and buy it all in one whack. I've built it up over the years and bought
Yep.
bits and pieces from car boot sales, so it's not cost me the earth. But it now means that if I do see a pair of shoes that I know could make a lot of money but do need a little bit of TLC, I can assess it and think, you know what, that's going to take me an hour, but actually I can make 50, 60 quid. Yeah, I'll do it. Or I might look at it and think, actually, it's just not worth the effort. And it just helps me understand whether it is worth doing or not. But it's always thinking before I make a purchase. So
100%.
I used to do it because I was a cheapskate, because it was cheaper for me to keep her boots nice, because I used to get a certain amount free. So it was cheaper for me to keep her boots nice every time she marked them up or went out in the rain or stained them than buy her a new pair of boots.
Yeah.
So you know, she loves her boots. So when the heels and soles start falling off of them, we try and get her the same sort of style of boots as well. She's one of them. She sort of has to have the same ones.
Yeah,
comfortable.
The only thing I learned on the back end of all that is that when I was buying shoes going further forward last year and I was doing well on shoes, is I just bought leather, because it's much more easier to repair and restore, and you do a lot less work to get fantastic results. And I think it was yourself who was saying on one of your videos, or I might have even talked to you one time, and I was just using a normal polish, and you were like, no, you can use like creams and oils on them that kind of get rid of the cracks. And I think it was Doc Martens we were talking about, and you said, oh no, you said if you use like a cream on it, all them cracks will go. My
back, like, in it, nourishes it and all that. Yeah,
it's a game changer. Like, and I started doing that, the brown leather with, and then the brown polish, and they were coming up brand new because all the cracks were gone, and they just looked amazing. And
not being funny, I used to use, like, I got given this massive, it's a Mercedes car care kit, and some of the creams and that, like, they're expensive creams for the leathers and for the suedes in your cars and that, you know, brings it up a treat. But like,
that's something I was looking at, because I'm going through so much of the leather nourishing creams. You can go and get 5-litre bottles of the stuff for car care, and I'm thinking, I wonder if they work on shoes. I haven't tried it yet.
No,
but,
I mean, I've tried the Mercedes kit that my neighbour gave me, because he got a new Mercedes, so he didn't need his old kit, and he gave it to me. It's got all spray bottles, brand new sponges, brushes, like I say, the moisturizer, the creams for the leather, and your sprays for the suedes and that. And I thought, it's good, if it's good enough for Mercedes, it's got to be good enough for a pair of shoes or a pair of boots, surely.
There you go.
Well, all we'll say is, if it does work, guys, we'll just brand our own bottles and sell it in the reselling community.
Yeah, we'll make our own.
We'll make it cheaper. We'll make it cheaper, but we'll
make it about 10 pence cheaper than Mercedes.
To be fair, talking of car cleaning products, slightly off subject, but about repairing, when I bought the JFJ disc repairer, the repairer that you use for the like the buffing, the cleaning of it, the fluid, you can buy the same for the car cleaning stuff, the wax, and it's exactly the same ingredients. And as you said, you can buy this much for £4, or you can buy the small bottle off them for 20 quid.
They make them. That's where they make their money, on the all the consumables. So always got. That's why it's good to think outside of the box and work out what you can do.
And it's all about, as well, you know, you want to do a good job, but also it's like, you know, buy it in, if you're going to use a lot of it, buy the bigger one, save the money, because like saving money there, saving a few pence on your postage, saving a few pence here, there and everywhere, and you're going to, by the end of the year, you're going to save a lot of money.
Even when it comes to stuff like mailing bags, I used to have sort of 3 different sizes of mailing bag.
Yeah.
But because I was buying them in smaller quantities, now I just buy the biggest mailing bag that I whichever one I decide I'm going to use. And it doesn't matter what, it always goes out in that, because if it needs to, it wraps around 2 or 3 times, gives it a bit more protection. But because I'm buying it in bulk, I get it so much cheaper. It's not worth mucking about. So
you can just get e-buy gum ones free. I've still got a load of them.
Does e-buy gum still exist? I don't know if that.
I've been beta testing the app.
Oh, really?
Oh, it's coming. Oh, it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. He's getting it sorted.
So talking about what we are talking about, before we talk about subjects that we might even be asking you about on the podcast, we have tried to be somewhat professional on the podcast and have some form of questions that we can kind of stick to. So some of the questions we ask you've probably been asked a million times, but because I've noticed a lot of people listening to the podcast, there's a lot of new viewers out there. There's lots of new resellers that have joined the community recently. That you know, it's kind of a good refresher to kind of introduce and kind of to get to know you. So the first question that I know you've answered a million times, but we may as well start with Kola Flipper. Where does your name come from?
Do you want the good answer or the real answer?
Oh, that's a killer question, but it's going to be the real one. It's going to be the real one.
It's the boring nothing. There was in my day job, there was a team, and it was called the Kola team, and it basically stood for a certain thing. And when I set up a YouTube account, I thought, I didn't want to use my own name, so I just thought, Kola. So I was just Kola originally, and then when I started watching Nick Hills and all that sort of stuff and got into it, I thought, I'll just stick Flipper on the end. So boring answer.
I don't like that one. Can we have the good answer?
The good answer is, so genuinely, I didn't just jump into reselling. I have always had like little side incomes throughout my life since I was at secondary school. And at secondary school, we did not have a vending machine for Coca-Cola. So it basically meant if anyone wanted soft drinks, you had to bring them in. So I would bring in, my dad would take me down to the cash and carry, would go and get a pack of 24 Cokes or Sprite or whatever it was. And I'd come in, I'd have a proper cooler bag. So I'd come in with sort of 16 cans a day. I was selling them at 50p, so doubling my money.
Nice.
And if you didn't have your money on the day, I'd charge you 70p if you had to pay the following day. But I did that, and it basically meant I didn't have to have like a little weekend job or anything. It meant
how long did they get before you sent the heavies round?
I was the heavy. But so it all started with that really, and I thought, Kola. Well, it's a good backstory. That truly happened, but that's not why I'm Kola Flipper. But so since I've been a teenager, I've been
there you go, got both stories.
Side income.
The real hustler.
Yeah,
always.
Right. So number 2 is, what got you into reselling, and how did it all come about?
Nick Hills.
Oh, he's the blame for everyone, isn't he?
Who is Nick Hills? Who is this
Nigel Hills?
So, Nigel, Nick.
Who is Nick? Nigel? Who is this Nigel and Angela?
Well, it's a couple of years ago. I don't know how it came up into my feed. I had no idea about reselling. I kind of accidentally resold a few things previously, not knowing that people did it. I didn't know it was a thing. And I stumbled upon this. It came up in my feed, YouTube feed, saying, I've bought the lot. I was like, what's all this about? And it was Nick basically buying the sellotape when it was on discount. I think he was buying them at like 13p. Those little Scotch tape things, dispensers. And I saw him clear the shelf, and I thought, when they accidentally price the wine cheap, I clear the shelf, but that's to drink. So that's a different thing. But when I thought, what is this guy doing? Then I realized, oh my God, he's making quite a bit of money here. Started looking at his videos and thought, I can do this. And it all sprung from there. And I went out, watched a couple of his videos, and went to a car boot sale. I used to go to car boot sales, just not very often. And this time I went around with a purpose of looking for something I could resell, bought 3 or 4 items, made a load of money on it, used that money and built it up. So basically it's all started with hardly any cash.
Nice.
Yeah, all Nick Hill's fault.
Nice. Yeah, Nick Hill's fault. Tell you what, when I was younger, I hated going to car boots, and I would not be seen dead in a charity shop.
Same, yeah.
My mum would go in the charity shops, and I wouldn't even enter the building. But now, keep me out.
I think I was same towards charity shops, but boot sales, I loved it. But boot sales to me, I'm very fond of, because it just reminded me when I've got nice memories of my granddad. So when my dad used to take me there, we used to always bump into his dad there, and he used to always, without fail, always give me a couple of pounds. And one of my memories, if I close my eyes and think about me rummaging in a box, I remember picking up micro machines at the boot sales back then as a kid, and I remember just bringing them out, and I remember having like it wasn't the car one, but it was like a volcano one. And like you could bring the cars down the strips, and I remember having that toy and that feeling that my granddad gave me £1 and then I went out and got something for it. So yeah, I think but back then I obviously wasn't thinking about the profit. I was thinking about the experience, and you know, what a brilliant experience.
Well, you didn't care about profit then, did you? You just wanted what you wanted, and that was it. It wasn't about
a bag of sweets was like a mountain of sweets back then. I just loved all them nice memories. And but yeah, that's that.
I was gonna say, funny, Rich, what you were saying about wouldn't be seen dead in a charity shop. I didn't really used to like going into charity shops, and then with the watching Nick and then starting watching other resellers and George and everyone else, I started going into them. And then I think before reselling, I might spend £10-15 a year in charity shops. My first year of reselling, I spent £3,000. So charities have done very, very well out of me. So
and that's what surprises me about when they kick off and say, you know, someone put something online the other day, and it was that if you're seeing
from resellers, it really.
I think 100%.
I think it. Sadly, I think that's a very small majority of charity shops that have that attitude. Most are pretty sound, and all the ones that I kind of go in regularly, I tell them what I'm doing. Otherwise, it's a bit weird that this young lad keeps picking up dresses and buying all these outfits all the time.
When I'm in there, they must keep thinking I'm cooking the old ping meals in the microwave. Ping, ping. Like scanning everything I can find.
But everyone's pretty sound about it, and you know, you don't want to get in that argument with them, because if that's what at the end of the day, if that's their shop, they're entitled to say whatever they are, and I think everyone's got to kind of understand that. If that's their attitude, that's their business choices, and I think we've got to be transparent, because there's so many counter arguments. You could go, well, how much do you pay your staff? How much did you pay for your stock? So how much do your bosses get? It just doesn't stop. So I just think,
to me, it's just our money's as good as anybody else's.
Of course it is. Of course,
they're asking.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's got a price tag. You're paying that price tag. Whether you want to take it home, smash it, give it away, sell it, should be down to you. Do you know what I mean? And they shouldn't have a problem with it. I mean, most of them are working in the charity shops, like volunteering anyway. So, you know,
this is what I was saying. But the bitter part of it is obviously how much do you pay your staff? How much did your CEO get? How much did you pay for your stock? But I agree. It should just be, if someone wants to go in there and make a living, then I personally think, and I don't mean it even as a full-time reseller, but I just think good for someone who's doing that. At least they're, and isn't that what charity is about as well? Like we're all self-funding each other and helping each other. Like, and I'm sure if that person who donated and you said, oh, by the way, you're helping a family who's got a couple of kids, and someone would go, wow, my jumper's helping him improve someone else's life. Brilliant. I'll drop off more jumpers.
I mean, you know, even when I was reselling, when I was taking care of my brother before he passed, you know, I was volunteering in the charity shop. So like, and I'm just thinking, well, if someone comes in and starts scanning stuff, you know, I'm not going to have a problem with it. I don't think I'd have a problem with it if I wasn't a reseller. But like, you know, like you say, it's horses for courses, isn't it? Some people like it, some people don't. But I would say that the reason that most of the charity shops now are like boutiques with all their like walking into a posh like boutique is because the money they've earned from resellers.
There's got to be a balance in there somewhere.
Definitely.
Was there a bit of show and tell in this little chat?
Well, we can do.
We can do.
We wing it. We wing it sometimes.
So I'm not sure what people know about me. So part-time reseller, full-time job, and I've had so many people say, "Why don't you do it? You know, go full-time reselling." I've got a good job. I enjoy what I do. The whole idea of the reselling is to improve my family's life. It means we can go on slightly nicer holidays, spend a bit more on the supermarket. But basically upgrade my lifestyle, and that I can basically hopefully retire in got a countdown 12 years. But now that lockdown is over and that I'm back in the office, I'm back in the office 1 day a week, where I was there every day. That 1 day a week, I love going out to the charity shops
Smashing
again,
the
because
Taz's at
I've not been
lunchtime.
doing it. And then this week,
if he brings up some golf clubs, Richard, that cost him £3 a pop, I'm going to go
£3 a pop, and these are Big Bertha, Callaway Big Bertha Gold. Now,
no,
the
they're
special
good.
thing about these ones is, as far as I'm aware, these are a beryllium copper head. So I paid £3 a pop, so 15 all in for the 5 they had, and I did ask if they had any more. It looks like comps go for somewhere between 120 and 160-ish for 5. So
Wow,
not a bad little find.
that's not too shabby.
Yeah, so quite happy with that.
While you're out grabbing yourself a coffee on lunch.
Exactly. So
Well,
yeah, 10 minutes walk into town, 10 minutes back, so I've got 40 minutes to run around, and I managed to hit 3 charity shops and come out with those. So yeah, well,
nice.
Good. Well, the Callaway was what I picked up when I've never sold golf clubs at all.
Yeah, you done
and I picked up the female Callaway ones, which I was selling them at £50 a pop, just for so Callaway is such a good brand.
Yeah.
It's like, but then when at boot sales, if you don't know what you're doing, and that's why I wouldn't buy golf clubs at the moment, because as we all know, say your boot sale starts at 5, that 5 to 7 o'clock window, you need to know what you know and get the stuff you know what you know, because it's so quick. And the thing is, the last thing I want to be there is, and I kind of did it the other week, pulling out golf clubs, taking off a top, and then I'm reading Wilson, and I'm going, oh, Wilson, that's not a good brand. And then I'm researching it, but obviously it can be, don't get me wrong. But like,
so this is where I can help you. So I haven't done one of these videos for ages. I did the Become a Better Reseller video series, and all it is, if you want to learn about golf clubs, after tonight, spend half an hour going to your eBay app, put in golf clubs, solds, highest to lowest, and then write down, anytime you see a new brand that you've not heard of, write them down. When you've got a list of 15 brands, then start looking at each golf club and then put that brand, and then you'll start building up a picture. I bought some Callaways recently that aren't very good, because they were older ones. I thought it was a good one, but it had a different type of the golf club shaft. So I'd made a mistake there. I'll make my money back easily. I'll still make a profit, but I won't make the 30, 40, 50 pound I was hoping. But now I've got a mental list of the top 10 or 15 golf clubs that go for high money. So that's what I do. And I don't just do it for golf club. Anything I want to learn about. If I see something regularly at a car boot, I want to learn about that, so that I don't have to research on the day. So that anyone can do it, and it's free. We can all learn for free. Spend 2.5 hours a week on any subject you want, and you can make some money. That's so that's your homework, James.
Well, I have been doing that on. We did it last year. After your video, my mate, me and my mate Ben, we used to have every time we went to the boot sale, we always said, let's learn something new. And one thing that we were looking at was planes. As in carpentry tools. And the one brand that I learned from there is, I always think of Coronation Street is Norris. So Norris, N-O-R, I think it might be RRIS. If you come across that in a carpentry tool, you're talking high hundreds potentially.
Really?
Oh, I've got some vintage tools.
I always try and learn brands. With like funny names that you can easily remember it as well. But also the reason why I'm also not trying to do golfing clubs as well is I'm trying to streamline a niche at the moment, just on clothing. So for me, my long term goals, probably in a year and a half, which isn't that long, but it is actually long when you're listing every single day, is actually to niche down, and I just want to do menswear, because that's where I see the future for me, because I can list more menswear quicker, because even if I spent all this day and age learning about women's dresses and all these type of things, I just feel there's so many different types of cuts that with my because the issue I've got is that I have a reading and a writing disability. So therefore, why make life complicated when I can list an extra 5 shirts? So a men's shirt is a men's shirt. But then if I could read and I could write and I could read books and learn about stuff, so I'm like, right, let's just crack on. Let's just do what I can do.
It's always that balance of, okay, I can make more money on this type of item, but if I can list 5 of those quicker, then yeah, there's always that balance. And I guess that also comes into the full timer and the part timer. For me, I've got an hour, maybe an hour and a half in an evening, so I'm focusing on the big high value things where for you, you've got the time and you can churn through because you've got more time. Yeah, and that's why reselling works for everyone, so many people, because there are so many ways of doing it. My way works for me, but it certainly wouldn't work for a full timer. So
no, definitely. I think your way is 100% the perfect. Well, I don't want to say the perfect way because obviously all the comments will come. I would say it's an incredibly good way to be when you have a niche amount of time and you can almost maximize your profit margins. And as we said, you went into free charity shops. Now, I'm sure today you could have filled up 2 free bags if you wanted to on different items. Yeah. But what you went in there for is you were looking at time efficient buys. You were going, what can I buy that I could list within an hour, 2 hours or so? And then obviously, be in a situation where I can obviously get it back on good margins, which is, I had a different mindset when I was in your situation, I had a full-time job, because back then it was lockdown.
Yeah.
And my looking at it, I actually was doing all the right things, but I just wasn't looking at it from a business point of view. And the things I was picking up back then was Wii consoles, but they were awesome throughout COVID.
They were good at the time. The first lockdown was so much better.
£10 into £120 bundles. They were just the dreams.
But everyone wanted it.
The Buffets, I was, the Buffet Extremes, the slightly bigger ones.
Yeah.
I was selling them. I think I sold one at 37 and one at 42 quid.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
Wow,
absolutely ridiculous. But now I think I don't know what they go for now. Probably about
I think 20. Yeah, no, 12. They're still 20. Sorry, they're still 20. No, it's still 20. Yeah, and 20 plus postage, and if you want a quick sell, 60. No, they're still good. Good value.
Right,
no, they've not tanked. They've not done a Mike Tyson card yet. They've not.
Yeah. I had one of them and I missed out on that boat with Mike Tyson's. But I did just sell my Ayrton Senna card. I've just sold that today. Yeah, Ayrton Senna's gone. Only 17.5 quid, but I don't think it was ever a lot.
So something that we see on your Instagram and we see on your Facebook and that you share, but we don't necessarily know a lot about, and you don't have to go too in depth, but something that the thing that makes this a podcast rather than anything else is, well, I want to know a little bit more about you as a family. So obviously you've got a partner, you've got children. Tell us a little bit about that story. How did you meet, and how old are your little ones, and also how's dad life? Because we're all dads, so how's the dad life?
I had black hair before children. So that's all you need to know. So my other half, I think we've been together maybe, I can't remember, I'm going to get in trouble if she sees this, probably 15 years or so. I can't remember, maybe a bit more.
Yeah.
So it turns out it's a year. It just feels like 15.
Again, black hair before. So we met at work. But I used to work in the mortgage industry, so I've worked in finance for 20 odd years now. So I've worked in loans, mortgages, and then I now work in compliance, and basically making sure people are doing the right thing and trying to prevent disasters from happening. My other half, she still works in mortgages, and I've got 2 kids. Archie is 8 and Rebecca is 12. So she is first year at secondary school. It's hard work, mate. It really is.
Can't wait for that to happen.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah,
so that's not always easy, but yeah, it's fun. It's hard work doing the full-time day job, part-time reselling, trying to renovate a house,
cooking dinners,
build a tax
making
shed,
cocktail videos,
drinking cocktails. Making
cocktail videos.
Maybe that's something I need to make some more of those videos, but I am training up the kids to make me cocktails. So that might be
because your son did one of the videos with it. It was really good.
Yeah,
that was cool.
Yeah, I usually get them to make Sandra Christmas cocktail, but I think I need to
Nice.
get them to start making me cocktails now.
That's the way to do it, isn't it?
Definitely.
That's the way to do it.
That's
yeah.
awesome, mate. It's awesome. It's just good because sometimes we obviously see everyone. We don't know a lot about everyone, and
That's
I think
the thing.
it's
You forget that people have kids and their parents, and they, it's not just resell. Like, we know our lives aren't just reselling, but you sort of forget that the people you talk to, you talk to them because they're reselling, and that's all that you ever speak about. And it's like yourself. You've got 2 kids. James has got a kid. I've got 3. It's like,
but then
God,
that's why what I love about reselling is you can fit that into whatever else you've got going on.
Yeah.
I've had, as I said, I've had multiple previous little enterprises, and a lot of them meant that. So, for example, one of them, I was a wedding photographer. I've been a wedding photographer for 12 years or so, probably more than that. But having the whole lockdown thing for 2 years, I hadn't photographed a wedding in 2 years, and I've not really missed it. It was what I used to love was the being involved and the adrenaline and the rush on a day, and you make a lot of money. But with wedding photography, it's not just taking pictures on one day. I'm taking 2,500 photos. I've got to edit them down. I've got to design an album. The equipment's expensive, and now I just don't see how that fits in with this life anymore. So I don't think I'm going to go back to it at all, to be honest.
I did my friend's wedding when I was living down south, and it was his, I think it was his aunties or uncles. And the only thing that I was really grateful for is I watched lots of wedding photographers, and I did a bit of research before I did the day. And they said the best way to imagine a wedding photographer and how to speak to the people that you're going to do the photos, tell them that their day is on a dartboard, and you've got 20 to 30 arrows in your hand, and you're not going to be able to hit all the numbers. But what photos do they want to guarantee? I.e., walking down the aisle, coming back out the aisle, outside for the photo.
Confetti.
Do they want the confetti shot? Do they want the group photo? Do they want the cake cutting photo? But tell them you need to prioritize which photos you want, because I physically cannot be in every single place unless I had millions upon millions of pounds, or I could afford 3 extra photographers. And when I did that day for them, because I had that conversation with them, they were over the moon with the photos that they had, because I didn't set expectations that were unachievable. But I agree with you. Even though after I did all that on the day, I think I spent way more time, if not 4 or 5 hours, several hours, 10 hours, 15 hours, just getting all the photos then ready to be sent to them to make the album for them.
And that's the drag. It's not the adrenaline on the day is fun. I enjoy that stuff. I enjoy the interaction. I enjoy the whole problem solving, because there's always a dodgy background. You've got someone who's not being cooperative. You've got light that's coming in at a funny angle. There's always a problem, but I love the fact that you can think your way around it. The actual editing of the photos bores the hell out of me, and I think that's what's tipped it for me. But who knows?
I bought this camera. I spent over £2,000 on that camera. Went in 2017 for our wedding, because I thought, I'll just give it around and people can all take photos. I ended up spending, I didn't end up using it, and I ended up spending like 1,700, 1,800 quid getting all the photos and video and that done anyway. And actually it wasn't that good in the end anyway. So I was a bit unhappy, but got the photos are lovely, but the video was just atrocious. It was like it was getting more wobbly at the end of the evening, and the first dance you can only see us from sort of shoulders down, and
it's difficult, isn't it? And that's the thing, because it's such a big expense on the day for the couple. You got to get the right person. And I think half the battle is finding someone. You spend more time with your photographer and videographer than anyone else on the day, so you want to find someone that you have a good rapport with. That B, did they take beautiful photos? Well, actually, A, did they take beautiful photos? B, do you get on with them? And then does it fit in your budget? So I think we're getting off track here, but anyway, if anyone wants to know about wedding photography, I'm not doing it anymore, but I can tell you what to do and what to look for.
But the thing is, though, Lee, as I said, this podcast isn't just about the reselling; it's also to get to know you. So don't worry. Anything that you're talking about that you've done, that you're doing, that's made you to who you are, and in all facts, that's the reason why if you go and watch your videos and then you see the way that you do photography, you do use the deflectors. You are good with the lighting. So all this probably then goes to people. Well, it's just come to me, and I've gone, no wonder he's on the money. No wonder he knows to do that. No wonder he knows about this. No wonder he knows about light coming in. And I was like, this answers a lot of questions.
So I guess, like, going back to, I was talking about researching previously, and I was very much the same when I got into photography. I sort of built up and got better and better, helped out other photographers, and basically got a day rate being the assistant or second photographer. And then I realized my pictures are as good as yours, and I'm just getting £100 for the day, and you're getting 1,500, 1,800 quid. How's that working out? So I started doing weddings very, very cheaply to build up a decent portfolio. And then that money just went into more and more lenses and bodies, and built my way up. And so the first couple of years didn't make any money because it was just being reinvested. But once you've got everything nailed down, it was very good. But then as well as that, with the research, I wanted to learn everything there was to know about how to get the photo that I could imagine in my mind. So now if I see a photo, I'm looking and I can figure out, okay, the light's coming from this angle, they're using this sort of lens, they're using this sort of shutter speed, and I can work it out backwards, so that if I want to recreate it, I know the settings I need to use. And I still use that with my so for example, with the eBay photography, I know exactly how I want to light it because I know how I want it to look, and I know how to do that. But if you don't have any background, it hamstrings you. It makes it a lot more difficult to work out, or how do you make that picture look like that? So
well, when I bought that, I intended on learning how to use it, and I still don't know how to use it. I don't know anything about settings. It's probably worth £1,000 now. I spent over £2,000 on it, and I don't know how to work it. I don't know what the best settings are.
When I come and see you, I'll teach you.
Yeah, definitely, because I'm rubbish. I'm rubbish. Right, the next question, I think you've part answered anyway. It was what do you do for your main income, and when did you start doing that?
So I've been in finance for 20 odd years now. I currently work for a big, massive multinational company. We've got 20 odd thousand people in the UK. Wow. I started that job. I've been made redundant, and I've been made redundant. We had a baby on the way. It was just before Christmas, and I'm pooping myself thinking, oh my God, this is not. I'd come back from holiday, and whilst I was getting the bags off the carousel, I'm looking at my phone thinking, why have I got all these missed calls? What the hell's going on here? Phoned up, and my boss basically said, yeah, we've all been made redundant, all of us.
Nice.
So that was rubbish. And basically, I started at this place. It was a 3-month temporary contract, and I've now been there for 12.5 years. So getting made redundant was probably one of the best things that ever could have happened. So it's one of those things where, as long as whatever happens, if crappy things do happen, just dive in, get on with it, and if you work hard, you can do all right. So I've done lots of different jobs at that place, and I don't know if people saw on Instagram a while ago, but I had an interview for a more senior role, and I basically had to do my my interview through basically through like a Zoom meeting. And I decided I was all fully suited and booted, tie. I even had shoes on. No one's ever going to see the shoes, but I needed to have them on. So I felt doing everything I can. So I've now had that promotion. So it's good. I enjoy what I do. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. But that combination with the reselling, it does mean now that the whole reason is that I can try and push harder at retiring early, because I do not want to be working for the man until I'm 68 now. No, that's what the retirement age is. I'm not doing that.
No,
I'm not.
So work hard now so I can relax later.
Yeah, I'm definitely not. I'm going to be signing on soon. Ain't working for no man.
We're laughing not because of what you said, because we laughed at the soon part, Richard.
I don't want to be working for many more years.
We've seen you signing on.
Hello, you've seen my style. Yeah.
So our next question is to do with your outdoor space, which we have seen.
Yes, taking shape nicely.
First of all, we love the time scale and the optimism last year. That did have definitely made I think most people have a chuckle.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's no way. Because there's two other resellers, one who's completed his project. There is a couple who are building their project, and then yourself that stand out. And I was like, oh, it's good to see, and I can see everyone's progress, and it's interesting watching how they've done it and what they've done. So first of all, I wanted to know, how is it getting on, and when have we got a completion date? Because me and Richard could come down if there's a ribbon. We're quite happy to cut the ribbon for you. Yeah.
Cut a ribbon.
It's basically, we wanted to have you know those fancy garden offices that cost 20 grand. I'm trying to do that on a budget of 4 grand. So I could have had that done if I'd had 20 grand, but I don't. So that's why it's taking a bit longer. I picked up a it's not even a proper office. It's basically a veranda. So it's 4 upright poles and a roof. And then my idea was, I can get that in. Once that's up and it's watertight, as in it's got a proper roof, I'm going to go and get secondhand patio doors, put them on 2 sides. So I've got 2 big windows, panel the rest out as and when I can. In my head, I thought, I might get this done for Christmas. Gone. It's not a chance. Not a chance. But so it's taken a lot longer. But that is because I'm trying to squeeze it in. So that's my eldest has come back with all the postal receipts.
Nice.
She does so that's part of her pocket. Do you want to say hello?
Oh, well done.
You don't want to have a look?
Hello.
So
fantastic. Modern day pot washing.
That's part of her pocket money. That's part of her chores. Is 2-3 times a week she's got to pop down the post office for me. It saves me time. I don't have to queue. Everyone's a winner. Bit of responsibility. She gets money. I save time. Anyway, back to the shed thing. I need to get stuff out of the house because it is impacting family life, having a crap ton of secondhand toot all over basically the conservatory is unusable. And
been there, done that.
To maintain being married, it would make sense to get it out the house. So that's why I'm building that. But once that's done, it means that I'll have it's going to be, and one entire wall right the way across, top to bottom, will be racking and either curtain to hide, or I'll put in doors. I'm not sure yet which. And that will be it. And that will mean I can get everything out of the house. We can have the house back, and I've got a proper dedicated space to keep it. But it isn't just going to be tat shed. It's going to have that tat stuff there. I'm going to have fold out table for doing the photography. But when it's not in use, it needs to be folded away so we can use it as a proper family space. So it's got to be a dual purpose place. But my wife, I think, has decided that, well, she didn't like me calling it a tat shed, and then I can't remember if it was her or me. One of us had heard the Coca Cabana song, and we thought, Kola Cabana. So that's what it's going to be called, I think.
Kola Cabana, I like it.
So when are we guesstimating this to be done? Are we thinking August, September, or?
Well, my wife's listening, so I'm not going to commit to anything.
Wise decision.
Wise decision. We may play some bets.
It's going to be a proper job. It made sense. I could have slammed it up a lot quicker, and it would be shoddy. And I'd rather take a bit more time and get it done properly. So it takes as long as it takes. I would obviously sooner rather than later, but I'm going to do it properly.
Nice.
Yeah, I get that completely.
Next one is your YouTube. What are your plans for your YouTube?
I've got to be honest. I've been really slacking with the YouTube at the minute because busy. As I said, full-time job, part-time, reselling,
full-time dad,
family. Exactly. Every Saturday, Sunday, I'm doing car boots in the morning.
Yeah.
Trying to fit in YouTube as well. It sounds really bad. It has to be the lowest of my priorities. Whenever I buy anything, I'm gagging to share it and tell people what I've done and what to look for. But originally I was trying to do a video a week, and that's just not happening. I can't fit that in. So I want to try and get, if I don't even know what to commit to. I'm going to fit in videos as and when I can, but I want to have that balance of, for me, my favorite videos are ones where I see people rummaging around a little bit, they find something, and then I learn something. If I'm not going to learn something, I'm not sure I really have the time to watch it. And I'm not talking about like a lecture. I'm talking about something new that I can either bring to whether it's the way I list, way I photograph stuff, changing a process, or whether it's, for example, these blooming golf clubs.
Yeah.
I want to learn about things. And for example, George Ross, a couple of years ago, or maybe a year or so ago, he was buying electrical test equipment, and it was worth 400 or 500 quid. As soon as that was gone, right, I'm going to start researching that. Off of the back of that, I found electrical test equipment, and I've made a fortune off it. So I want my videos to be educational, because I've seen quite a lot of the YouTubers who've got a lot greater following than I do, but when I look at the view numbers, they're not as high as mine. So it basically, people must be coming back to me because they're learning something, because it ain't my personality. So I don't know what else it could be.
I think it's probably part of that as well, because but you've got good knowledge, and that's the thing. You retain good knowledge, you share the knowledge, and that that's what it is. I think they just come to see what I've got to moan each day, like for my videos. It's like, what's he going to moan about today? What's happened to him? Oh yeah, he's picked up a couple of bits, same old rubbish. Oh, yeah. I'm quite happy with that.
I very much enjoyed you cleaning your gutters. That was one of my favourites.
Oh, no, when I was up on the roof? Oh, yeah. But the wife, she said to me, I was up there, and she said, "Oh, this side here, like it's literally goes like that, and there's nothing there. There's no. If I roll, there's no roof. There's no gully." And I said, "So the roof's literally like that. You can't stand up in our attic." And she wanted me to lay down on my belly, right on the edge of the roof, and scrub the plastic down that side. I went, "Are you mad? What, you actually do want life insurance?"
She
was trying to kill me.
She was checking downstairs to see she had life insurance as well. So
she knows she's got life insurance. That's the problem. That's why she was trying to get me to do it.
I'm definitely worth more dead than alive. So.
Oh yeah, so am I.
I think most of us are. To be fair,
I think I'm worth about £5 at the minute. So yeah, anything's better than that.
So next question, apart from life insurance, is something that kind of came to my attention in one of your videos, and obviously something that you're very notorious for, is buying high-end items. And really, when I say high end, I mean like money that could be worth thousands. 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, big price tag items. And one thing that you do that I've never seen any other reseller in the UK talk about, apart from maybe we've just got some there is another new couple that's come to the scene
luxury
that does
pickers.
talk about the luxury pickers. Now they do talk about this as well, but I think that you were the first to really bring this to my attention, which is that you were selling these high-end items not just on eBay. And what I wanted to talk to you about is, if someone is listening to this podcast and they've got a genuine D&G, they've got something really that's could be worth some serious money, but the issue is the sold comps on eBay are not doing it justice. And it's probably got a double-ended answer really, but I want to know, what platforms would you recommend? How have you got on selling on these other platforms? What's the advantages and the disadvantages? And yeah, I suppose if someone's got something either in the house or they want to kind of sell it because the eBay comps, they know it's worth more than what eBay's asking. Yeah, I suppose what I'm asking is that where else can we go, and how have you got on in the past?
there's a lot of parts to this answer, I guess. So the main other platform for listing would be Vestiae Collective. So it's they've got a website, they've got the app. Go and have a look. I haven't actually listed anything on there yet. I've just been investigating, but that is where it's I think it's 20% commission they take, but because they have it's a different clientele. They're looking for the top end stuff, and it means that they're willing to pay a lot more. So okay, well with eBay, people always think, oh, it's the 10%. It's not the 10%.
No. Not now with promoted listings and everything.
As well as that, so you've got it's 10 or 12% depending on what category and everything else, plus the VAT, everything else. And I've worked out. So I'm very much into my stats and my numbers. So I regularly look through all my numbers, and I've worked out that over, for example, the last 6-month period, that my average genuine fee taken out by eBay, if you include, because I do promoted listings on pretty much everything. Some sell with, some sell without. But on average, eBay are taking, I think it was a 19% cut on everything. So actually, if Vestiae Collective, it's not really any different. One of the things, whilst I haven't listed anything on there at the moment, is because I was basically, there were a few items that I had earmarked for it because I thought they were too good for eBay because the comps weren't where they should have been. And I've just been a bit lazy and crap. So I've got literally a wardrobe with I don't know about a death pile, fortune pile. I don't know what we're going to call it, but
fortune pile.
We'll call it a fortune pile. It's a war
treasure
chest.
stack. Treasure stack.
And I've got some absolutely incredible items that I'm going to be putting up with Vestiae Collective. But actually, I've reached out and had a chat with the luxury pickers and sought some advice from them, and they were saying that some of the items that I've got, there's a particular dress that I've got that is a standout iconic dress, and that is something that collectors would go for. Wow. So we could be talking, when it was new, the dress was $2,700 and something.
Jeez.
But because I haven't seen, and I've been keeping an eye on it to see, does it ever come up on eBay or anywhere else, and it hasn't. So knowing that I've got potentially the only one in the world for sale, do I go for $2,000? Do I go for 3? Do I go for more? If I put it up for a little bit more, I'm a patient man. I don't care if it takes a year or 2 years to sell.
I'll go 10 times it.
But I'm not, because I'm not relentless, because I've got the day job, and the day job covers the bills, covers everything else we need. It gives me that freedom to let things sit, and not because I'm not reliant on it. So yeah, definitely people should have a look at Vestiae Collective. They also do what do you call it, where they have a authentication.
I remember you mentioning that as well.
So that is something. So if you're not sure if it's legit or moody, actually so anyone who hasn't subscribed to the luxury pickers, go and have a look at their channel and also follow their Instagram. But they are also very happy to, their knowledge is absolutely incredible. So
where are they? Are they UK?
Yeah, they're is it Somerset based, I think.
I think we have, it's a Welsh accent and a UK accent between them both. So
I think they're near Bath, actually.
Because what's really funny is they go, oh, we're in a different country, and so if you want, their humour's brilliant.
Yeah, it is so funny, and that's what I love. I'm learning stuff, and they're funny, so they are brilliant. But if you've got something that you think you're unsure if it's genuine or not, they're more than happy to, by sending them as long as you make sure you've got quality photos, send them some quality photos through Instagram, and they will authenticate it for you.
Yeah, definitely.
And I had that recently. I don't know if I haven't got it to hand. I picked up it was a Louis Vuitton messenger bag. And I picked it up at a car boot sale, and to my eyes, I normally don't look at these sorts of things because they're always fake. And I looked at this and I thought, there's something a little bit different about that. And it was just the way that the metal was, the metalwork, the leather. And again, a lot of the time with Moody things, it's all fake leather, and you can see that it's going to peel because it's
Sewing's
PU leather.
rubbish.
It's not real. This
Yeah.
really looked legit. And I thought, you know what? If it's under a tenner, actually, if it's under 15, I'll take it. And asked how much. She said £10. I said, I'll give you 8. She was like, okay. So I took it. I did genuinely think it was real. I did a lot of research, and I was just actually, the little magnetic clasps aren't quite the same. Or checked with them, and they said it's not real. And they showed me side by side photos to explain what the differences were. So I now have a very nice bag for taking my sandwiches to work now.
That's all right.
So I can't sell it,
Bit
but
of Louis. If you
it
struggle
looks
to tell it
lovely.
was real, everyone else will, wouldn't it?
Honestly, there a lot of the time the fakes are really obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was good. But
And I think they mentioned that on one of their most recent videos, that fakes are normally obvious, but also some fakes are incredibly
really
good now.
good.
And sometimes, and they were talking about a particular brand that they came across, whereabouts it was perishing inside, and people would think that that's a fake, but because it's perishing, it's actually real, because it's the type of material that they use inside it, and some materials will perish.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's like Rolexes. Even Rolexes now, the copies are so good that even watchmakers are having to take them apart to see the insides to actually tell they're real.
Yeah, it's incredible. So there is, it does make it difficult, but because one of the things I was going to say is that I'm quite lucky in my local town. There is a very high end shop. So if you're somewhere near somewhere that's got Selfridges or a higher end shop or a top end fashion shop, go and look at the shoes, pick the shoes up, look at the soles, look at the leather, look at the inside. How's the lining work? Go and look at a pair of Gucci trainers, pull the insole out and see what it looks like underneath.
Feel the weight of them as well.
The weight makes a difference. The eyelets where the laces go through, look at the back. Is it round? Is it a little star?
Yeah.
Get familiar with how expensive items are made and how they feel. And that means that when you do see something out in the field, you're never going to be 100% sure. But it gives you a bit more confidence, and it makes you think, well, actually, is this worth me taking a £10 chance? Sometimes yes. Sometimes they might be asking £50. You think, oh, you know what? I'm not really sure. Sometimes you might think, actually, everything is ticking boxes here. It's worth a punt. But if I hadn't have gone, and that's something I do again regularly, I go into the high-end shops, have a bit of a mooch around. Security guard looks at me a bit funny. Go in, have a look at stuff, and it honestly makes such a difference with your decision making at a later date, and it could be the difference between losing money or making a crap ton of money.
Yeah.
But as you said there, and I think people have said it throughout the reselling community, and it's a phrase that maybe isn't used as often, but it reminds me of when I was watching the COVID videos, that you're paying for that knowledge. And that's always a good attitude to have sometimes, is that if you were to go and be a welder or a plasterer or a builder or a plumber, or even if you want to be a doctor or whatever you would pay for just think of how much people pay for education.
Yeah.
And that's how you have to get over it and go, oh, I paid 20 quid for it. Well, just think, you just paid for that education. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And you're never going to get it wrong again. Oh, 100%. But it was like the education I paid for last year that's always stuck with me, and it's a brand I'll never, ever, ever forget about now, and I'll always look out for, is Vivienne Westwood. I had a Vivienne Westwood t-shirt right in front of me. I'd never heard of it. Never heard of the brand, I never knew anything about it. And I thought, I just looked at it and I was like, I felt it and I was like, this is lovely material. I was like, this is quality. And I looked at the graffiti art on the t-shirt and I was like, whoa, this is a cool logo. And then I said, oh, how much do you want for it? And he said, oh, 15. And I thought, oh, that's a bit much for a t-shirt. I'm not willing to pay that. And I walked away. And then I did a bit of research and I was like, sold comps on this particular t-shirt were like 60, 70, 80, 90 pounds all day of the week. I went back and he went, oh, it's already gone. And I remember telling my mate Ben, and he went, yeah, Vivienne Westwood's good, because this is when I was learning clothing brands. So the other week before I went on my family holiday, my daughter's charity shop across from the road whereabouts her preschool is, I popped in there and they had a £3 hoodie Vivienne Westwood. And from £3, I sold that for £75 plus postage.
And you wore it for a bit.
And I wore it for a bit. I went on my holiday and I wore it. I wore it on my holiday. I had all the holiday photos in my Vivienne Westwood hoodie.
Yeah, why not?
I just
But
sold
yeah.
one as well. I had a Vivienne Westwood coat, and it was there was a charity shop that's actually shut down now, and they are usually so good at picking up the high-end items, and they price high when they've got them. Don't know how it slipped through the net. I paid £15 for it, and I've just sold that for 140. So
fantastic.
It's taken me 2 years to sell.
Yeah,
but again,
but you're not in a rush to sell it, are you? You're not in a rush to sell it.
I find Vivienne. I also even find another brand that takes a while to sell to get the proper price it's after is Karen Millen. Karen Millen's another brand that you can pick up, but because obviously I learned that brand through yourself when you did your videos, and you've taught me a little bit. But I've learned that Karen Millen isn't like if I had Bowden as an example and a Bowden dress, I could probably sell 12 Bowden dresses at £20. From a one Karen Millen, it's going to sell for like £70. It'll be stuck for a while, but I'm learning that clothing and items sell different, and
that's it. And part of it is working out. Well, again, you need to have a slightly higher, a higher turnover of goods, so you can compound the growth of your money. For me, I can just let stuff slip. So again, different ways of doing things. I could bang stuff out a lot quicker, but it just makes work for me. Maybe I should be because I've got the backlog, but then that means I'm listing more every night and I haven't got the time.
You should never do that. You should build it up. Keep building it up, Lee. Keep building it up.
Only because you want to buy it off me cheap when I've got too much.
Yeah, that's what he wants. Yeah, he wants to buy it. So we were talking about all the high-priced items, and now you know the sort of stuff you pick up is high-value, quality items. If you were to strip it right back, how would if someone wanted to get into that's what they wanted to get into, reselling, they wanted to get into the high-value item stuff, what advice would you give them?
Well, it depends on whether you've got a bit of cash to put into it. If you're starting from scratch and you don't, I would say start off something simple and resell trainers initially to build up a bit of a war chest of money. Once you've got yourself together, say 100 or so quid, it's again, for being a part-timer, it works better potentially for part-timers, and it does depend on where you are living. But I always look at make myself aware of what the sold prices are, and in my head I can do the calculations very quickly on what all my fees are going to cost, and it's your profit is made on the price you pay. It doesn't matter how expensive a brand it's going to be. If you're paying the wrong price, you're not going to make any money. The more money I risk with my investment into a particular item, the more money that's got to make me. So if I'm going to spend 20 quid on something, I don't mind if that sits there for a year, but I want that £20 to turn into, say, £60 or £80 profit. I'm not going to muck about putting £20 into something that, all well and good that it sells for £50. Once you knocked off 20%, that leaves you with 40. So I'm going to double my money? Is that worth it? No.
Yeah, and if it's stuck there for, as you said there, 6-7 months, it's it's not a sensible investment.
Trainers, £5 a pop. Even if I'm selling them at £22 after fees, okay, let's say I make 12 quid. I can turn that money a lot faster. But that is how I would build up that bit of cash, so that I could have. Then if I had £100, I might allocate 50 of it goes on the items that I can turn over quickly to keep money coming in. 50 goes on items that I can afford to let sit. And I guess it all depends on how quick you need your money to be coming round. But for me, it's a lot of it comes down to I'm very conscious about where I'm spending my money, so that I can take bigger risks with things, knowing that it's not going to impact whether I've got food on the table, whether I've got the mortgage paid. So I'm very, very conscious of compartmentalizing. I need this to turn quickly. This can sit for 3 months, 4 months. This, I don't give a monkeys if it's 2 years. I don't care. It will turn up at some point, and when it does, that's great. And by building that up, and as I've evolved the business, I'm moving more and more towards the higher end stuff, because of my lack of time. So I've looked at some stats last night just to get an idea. So my last 100 items sold, average sale price is £45. After you take out,
that's good going.
So we know it's about 400 quid so far. So
average. So I look at my average post and packaging, my average buy cost. So my average cost for your post and packaging you buy is about just under a tenner. So effectively, after all fees and my buying costs, my average profit per item for the last 100 items is about £28.70. So
that's nice.
But that's what I'm doing. I'm now moving every item I buy now. If it's going to make me less than £28 profit, why am I picking it up? I've got a shed full of stuff unlisted that I know will make that. So I need to buy stuff that's going to make me a bigger. So I've worked out the numbers in my head before I put my hand in my pocket, so that when I have to make a decision, I can make a quick decision and move on to the next item rather than sitting there working it out and wasting my time at the car boot. And that's what I want to do. By being aware of my numbers, I'm trying to improve this every quarter. So every quarter, I want to make sure that my profit per item is higher, because that means I'm getting more money for less work. And that's the thing that's valuable for me at the time. But
I wish I was that organised.
Spend an hour or so on it at some point. You've got all the numbers there in eBay, and it's worth doing. And even things like every now and again, I'll look at how many items I've got listed in my shop, and I'll work out how many of them are under £20 items, how many are under £50, how many are 50 to 100, how many between 100 and 200. And I want the vast majority of my items to be £50 and above. A handful of the lower ones, just to keep things ticking over, because obviously you've got the algorithm to worry about as well. But as it's progressed, it's getting more and more weighted towards the higher end, the higher value items, because I don't care if my income's lumpy. I'll get no sale, no sale, no sale, massive sale, no sale, no sale, massive sale, and that's fine by me, because I'm not relying on it.
I've had that, and I'm when I've been relying on wages over the years, I'll get, like, obviously I've been selling film props and stuff on and off, and like you'll have a really quiet period selling your bits and pieces. All of a sudden you sell something that's nice, you think, oh, that's done me for a little bit, still plod on, still listening stuff and that, but very much, although I should be more on the thing where where I am now, actually I'm listing 5 a day, and James is there and he's helping me and stuff. So I'm getting back to it, but I do like it when you sell something that's a nice value that goes out the door, and you think, that's made up for the past couple of weeks. Do you know what I mean? So
I used to get when I first started, because I was selling all kinds, but because of watching Nick and Andrea, it was just anything I could see that made a profit I bought, which meant that I had all sorts of stuff, which took me longer to list because I didn't know about everything. And like James with the niching down, you can do it faster. So it's that balance of, yes, I'll sell anything and everything, but I focus on shoes and clothing because I know about them and I can list them quickly and I understand that. But I'll buy and sell everything. But that's why I'm constantly trying to learn. And if it's breakable, it needs to make me a bigger profit, because it's a pain in the bum to pack and I'm more worried about it, and there is that chance of it breaking.
100%.
And if it's a pain to pack, it's got to make me more money. If it's big to store, it needs to make me more money, or don't pick it up. And I used to get so really used to eat at me when I was leaving money on the table, and I know I can make money on stuff, but I've got a lot better at thinking, right, no, that doesn't fit in the bigger plan. Leave it. Someone else will buy it, someone else will make a profit. That's absolutely fine. Focus on the plan, because if I'm focused on that, and it's working, so, and it won't work for everyone, but have a plan.
I'd agree with you 100%. The last boot sale I went to was the first official boot sale. I think I went there with the plan of, I was just there for clothing, and I did see the hi-fis, I did see the golf clubs, I did see the other things that I could have picked up. And there's nothing wrong if anyone's watching this going, yeah, but you can. When Lee talks, when Richard talks, when I talk, we're only speaking from what we're doing, and we can only go off what's working for us. For me right now, the reason why I'm niching down, Lee understands 100%, and Richard understands completely, is that I've got 6 hours to list. If I've got a hi-fi system, I've got some toys, I've got clothing, I've got shoes, and I've got something else. If I've either got to research them, I've got to either photo them differently. So I've got to put them in different photos. I've got to test electronics. I might have to clean the shoes. Where with the clothing, the items behind me, all of them have been through the wash. So all the clothes I get, unless they're brand new with, don't worry about sounds. If they any item I get, unless it's brand new with tags, I pretty much get from the boots and I just chuck in the wash. And the reason why I've done that recently is I've learned a little hack with clothing, which is that what I was doing is I was like, oh, this is good. And I'll steam it and I'll get them all ready the day after. I'll get my lovely 10 items in and I bring it up. I'll put it in front of these white lights and I go, oh, there's a mark on it.
Yeah.
So what I've learned is I chuck them all in the wash now, chuck everything in the wash with the pink stuff. So it gets rid of the whatever it can do. And then if it's there with a mark, I photo with the mark because I know at least mentally I've given it a wash. I've done what I can and I'll sell it with what it has.
Yeah.
But every time I'm doing that, I'm starting back from plan. It's almost like ABC, and I'm just
having that process.
Yeah.
And by doing that, you're not having to. Before, when you weren't doing the washing of it, you've wasted time on steaming something and then found an issue under the lights. So you have to do that again. So just do everything from scratch, and that's something I've learned massively from working for a big corporation, is the fact that every task you do, some people are not going to like it. People like to be able to do what they like when they like, and I like that. But for specific things, I like to have a process because it saves me time, saves me effort. So the way I photograph my stuff, I have it all set up in the same way. I don't just go, as you say, I don't want to photograph a hi-fi, then a t-shirt, then a pair of trainers. I will go and blast through 20, 30 pairs of shoes, and I'll just have a pile of them. This is what I'm going to do for 2 hours because everything's set up in the right way. I've got a backlog of stereos at the moment, because when I've got to when that bit of the storage is full, I'm just going to photograph and test stereos, because by doing it all at the same time, it saves me time. But that's a massive thing, James, is having a process. And it doesn't matter what process people have a process. Try and stick to it and then refine it and make it more efficient, save yourself time, and it makes a big difference.
100%.
Well, James is doing that at the moment anyway, isn't he? You're doing that. You're sort of fine-tuning and saving time on different aspects of your job. So yeah, I think you're already implementing that.
Well, today, put it this way, we're doing a podcast, and I've now got to the point, because I started doing my 10 a day, which doesn't seem a lot, but when you're doing it every single day and you've got to source that many items every single week, it adds up. All my listings were done an hour before the podcast. So I've done all my parcels, I've done all my listing, I've done all my steaming, and I've just shown you I've got all tomorrow's items already steamed ready. So the more I'm doing something, and today was the first day I went, yeah, I think by the end of the month I'm ready for 15, and I'm ready. That's next month. I'm gonna go up to 15 every single day, and then I'm gonna trial that from every 2 months, and then I'm gonna go into 20 every single day. And by the end of the year, I want to be finishing doing 30 a day every single day.
And that's it. If you do it in small increments, it doesn't seem like such a step change, because if you're adapting from 10 to 12 and 12 to 15 or whatever else, it's accomplishable. So
100%.
It doesn't put you back. Do you build up a stock of drafts as well, or not at the moment?
Not at the moment, but that's because I'm kind of doing a little bit of running before I'm walking. But what I am doing is I've already pre-planned my route where I'm jogging, and I've already checked the temperature, the climate, and my shoes are perfect for it. So it's kind of, I know I'm running, and I know I don't have the draft bank, but I'm at no risk, because I've now got to the point where I can list the 10 within a 2-hour time limit, and I've got 2 hours spare every single day. So even if I've got the busiest day that happens and it's chaos happens, I'm going to get my 10 up regardless.
That's great.
And I've just had the best thing that ever happened last week. Well, early this week, within the last 7 days. I couldn't tell you the specific day, but my wife was up here and she was helping steam all the clothes. Brilliant. And that is the biggest game changer, because she even said to me, she says, I'm so happy. This was her word. She says, I'm so happy you're doing clothing. She says, because I didn't want to help you, because I didn't want to be doing shoes or your hi-fi or this, that, and the other. And she said, the fact that you're niching down, I can invest on the clothes. She says, I don't want to do your listings. She says, I'm not really keen on photos. And I'm like, that's fine. I don't want her to do something she's not comfortable with. but she'll steam all my new clothes that come out. She's happy to put them all in the wash because we're doing washes everywhere. She'll hang it, no problem. And she's quite happy to package my items. There's such massive chunks of time that I'm saving.
Yeah.
And Carolyn knows as well, is that all that money is for us. It's for Holly. It's for our holidays. So that, and it's our time. So on a Sunday, you know, obviously I've Saturday Night Lives. I've only got 2 more weeks, and then I'm not going to be doing Saturday Night Lives anymore. But that's because I'm getting up at 4 o'clock and I'm doing the lives until 9:30.
Yeah.
But because you're so engaged on the live, I don't sleep till 11:30, and I'm then going up there not on it.
Yeah.
But that time whereabouts I would be, I can get all Sunday's listings done on the night with Carol, and we can come up here, we can have a drink together, and we don't mind that. So as I said there, it's just being efficient, time management, and kind of. But as I said, that's
difference.
But anyone listening, this is what's working for me. I'm not saying you should do this.
Yeah, my wife's not interested. She doesn't care for it. She doesn't like it. She don't want to see it. She's not bothered about it. So there's no way I could ever get her involved. I did try at the start, but she's having.
So he's helped out a bit. She's helped with she helps with steaming clothes. Sometimes she'll do the measurements for me. Yeah. Or for example, sometimes we've done the photos, and then we've got the box of clothing, and what I'll do, I'll just read out measurements and just get her to write them down, and it just by splitting that, it means it just makes it a little bit quicker. We can do that on a lunch hour. So we'll have our lunch. If I'm working from home, have lunch, and then we'll go and measure clothes for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And that it just takes a little bit of the edge.
And if you're sitting down and having a chat, you might as well be sitting down and doing something and chatting, aren't you? So
100%. And as James was saying, the money's all going into a pot for the family and making our lives better.
Well,
so
that's why we all do it.
Definitely.
Don't do it because we don't want to do anything else. So it is good.
It's paid for the sports car.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, amazing car, mate.
Yeah.
So I've got a couple of questions. I'm going to cherry pick this next one, but I'm also going to change it, and then I'm going to let Richard ask one, and then we'll finish on a final one for you, just to kind of for the viewers listening, so you know what's coming up. So this next question you've kind of answered. So it was going to be, how do you spot a fake? And you kind of said about the quality is one thing to look out for, the stitching, and I think the weight. But I think the biggest
materials as well.
But I think the biggest hack that you've gave for the viewers is that if you are close to these retailer shops, physically go in there,
go in
take
and
the
have
shoes
a look.
apart, look at it yourself, because nothing is better to learn than a visual aid. And then the other thing,
yourself with quality. If you can learn to spot quality, that helps, because you will see fakes out there, and you will feel the difference. You will feel if it feels cheap or it feels expensive, and that doesn't always mean that it is real, but it's another little key thing that you can put in there.
Yeah, and she took me to. I'd never ever been in Harrods until I was 40 years old. She took me into Harrods, and she obviously likes the rooms and rooms and never-ending rooms of handbags. Even things I noticed, like popping the clasp open, opening the bag and popping it shut. It's like the sound of a decent car door when it shuts. You know, the sound of the clasp. You can hear if it's clanky. You can feel if it's not quality. You know, the sound of it, the feel of it. Like you say, you know, it is worth doing something like that. Go and have a mooch round Harrods.
100%.
Have a look around the handbags. Have a look around the shoes. You know, and just have a little feel about them. Just
don't
like you say,
about what people think. If someone asks, you're looking to buy your wife a handbag, doesn't matter.
Yeah,
go and
exactly right. Exactly right.
I've stopped caring what people think a long time ago. So
don't
be worried about buying women's clothes.
100%, 100%. Oh, the other part was I was about to ask, which you answered earlier in the podcast, which was, have you been stung? Which you said, which was the most recent one, was the as you said there, you thought it was legit. You paid your £10. You were adamant. You sent it to the luxury pickers, and they explained because of the clasps and the way that the bag is. And I think that's. Sometimes it's worth knowing that little final step, which is that even if you think it's not, there are people in the community. There's people there that are doing it as a full-time job. Message them. I even think it was.
We're a community. We help each other.
100%. Well, another thing to do as well. And I don't know what reseller it was, but it could be any reseller. Sometimes on Instagram, you can message the actual manufacturer people and just say, I've picked
Oh,
this up. And that's another hack as well. What's the worst they're going to say? I'm sorry, I can't answer it.
Not telling you.
yeah.
You can also message the thingy and say, look, I've come across this. I've been given this. You could make up a story and say, I've been given it. I just don't know if it's real or fake. Could you tell me? And then another thing is reach out to the manufacturers. They might be able to answer it as well. So, you know, it's all, there's so now we're in a digital age. Use what's out there and
I
kind
might
of
phone
people.
Yeah, I might phone KFC and see what their secret recipe. If they tell me their secret recipe.
Richard, I'll let you answer.
So
the
I
next
can
one.
choose. Can I choose, or have I got what one have I?
No, you choose, and I'll. But I tell you what, if you're going to wrap it up and go for the 10 one, I think that's a nice one to go for.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Yeah,
let's wrap it up on that one, because we kind of and we kind of know what this year looks like for Lee, because we kind of answered a lot of that questions. But this would be an interesting one to end the podcast.
Yeah, so number 10. Yeah, just go for that.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah, question number 10.
Oh, it's the one that's got 10 in it.
Yeah, there's another one, but in it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, what is your 10-year plan?
10-year plan.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've got a 10-year plan.
I haven't got one.
You should do.
Well, I think the wife would have bumped me off by then, so I ain't got much to worry about.
I think it's always a good idea to have a plan. Whether it's good to have short-term, long-term plans. I'm not well off, I'm not poor, I'm somewhere in the middle. And what I don't want is I don't want to rely on the government pension, because it would mean I'm working till I'm 68.
Yeah.
That ain't happening. And it's such a low amount that I will be drinking tenant super. I think that doesn't sound like a very good retirement to me.
No, I used to do that in my younger days, and it wasn't very nice.
So I am hammering as much spare cash. Basically, I've pushed hard at work, got a small promotion, which has taken off a lot of financial pressures, but it also meant that the reselling side of things is purely to try and make a better future for me and my family. And part of that is I would like to have a bit more free time at some point to do what I want. Reality is a lot of that's going to be reselling, but I want to retire at 55 if I can. So I've got just under 12 years to do that, which means I've got to pay off £154,000 left on the mortgage. The mortgage is 19 years, so I'm spare money from reselling is going into investments that will grow, which means in 12 years time that'll be big enough to then cover the mortgage payments. So I'm going to be mortgage free in 10 years time. So
nice.
I'm basically, everything is all about pushing towards that sort of 12-year date. So any spare money is being invested, and again, you're talking about research. Anything I want to learn about, I go in at full hog until I can learn everything there is to know about it, so I can make informed decisions. So whether that was about photography, investing, whatever else, it's so I can make a better decision so that my money works for me. I want my money to grow. If I put it in the bank with the inflation rate as it is, it's disappearing. So you have to look at what you're going to do for the future, and that's why I'm not going to advise people on how to invest, but you should consider investing for the long term, because you don't want to be working till you're 70. So everything I've got is being pushed into my ISA, lifetime ISA pension, so that I can retire at 55. That seems to be like a sensible goal for me. So that is the 10-year plan, and that doesn't mean that in the meantime I'm going to be eating baked beans. The combination of, well, I will have baked beans as well.
We're in your car. We're in your car, and we know the price of fuel's going up.
Be eating them in the Porsche.
Oh my god! But that's another thing, is though I've gone out and I've bought a 20-year-old Porsche. I'd been saving for that for something like 8 years, and for every £2,000 I saved, the car went up £4,000. So
Yeah.
it was getting horrific. And then it got to a stage when I thought, well, actually, the reselling, the money I've got spare from that is easily going to pay for the £8,000 loan that I needed to get the difference. So I thought, sod it, I'm just going to do it.
Do it.
And that's a car that's depreciated as far as it's ever going to go. So it's going to either stay where it is or slowly go up. So I'm not looking to make money on it, but I want to enjoy myself a little bit as well. But it's that combination of looking at the long term, and I cut back on things that I don't need so that I can have money to spend on things that I do want. I'm a tight git. For example, our Sky bill was getting ridiculous. I spent an hour on the phone to Sky the other day, and I've managed to somehow get Netflix thrown in and Sky Movies thrown in, and they knocked £17 off our monthly bill.
Yeah, my wife done that last week.
Over 18 months, £17 a month over 18 months. It adds up. But by cutting back on the things that I don't need means I've got money to invest in the future. So yeah, I'm very, very conscious about.
That's what I said earlier. You save a little bit here, save a little bit there, and it gives you a nice big bit at the end.
Yeah,
you know,
no,
that's what it's all about. It's not being tight. It's being sensible.
It's about thinking about the bigger picture, and that is why I have a plan of action for the next however many years. Even stuff like I've worked out how much I need to save every month so that I can retire. And if people want to know about this sort of stuff, I did a video about it a little while ago. How reselling is going to pay off the house in 12 years or whatever it is. And I know it won't work for everyone, and I know everyone won't have the knowledge at the moment to do that. I just wanted to spark a little bit of put the thought in people's minds that, okay, maybe I do need to think about the long term, because otherwise you're just going to work yourself into the grave, and I don't think that's a very good idea for anyone. You need to have a plan.
It's incredibly not healthy, and let's be realistic. In the next 10 years, 15 years, that retirement age is only going to keep going further. You know, I think I'm 33, I'm 34 this year. I think by the time if I was to go state, it would be 75 at the earliest when I retire. So my plan is very similar to yours. We've got a 55 to 100% under 60, both retirement plan. And, you know, without saying way too much, a lot that's changed our minds has been the property that we're sat in. And we didn't realize the potential and the future proof is, and we've kind of gone the same route as you, Lee, which is to push to get this mortgage paid off. And we're in a 6-bedroom house, and I was like, what a retirement plan. And I was chatting to the builder who did the front of our house, which we've recently just had done, and he was saying the average student rooms at the moment in Lancaster per room is 175 per week.
Jeez.
And this house has the potential of extending to the back, and I can extend up as well. So I could so rather than even buying new houses, I could just pay for 2 more extensions as well whilst paying off the mortgage, and be anywhere between an 8 or a 10-bedroom house and rent each room out. And I was like, that is the plan. Pay off the mortgage and have a house with as many rooms as possible, and then rent them out, you know, and then buy ourselves a second property in the meantime through the eBay business, go and live there. It'll be self-sufficient. And also we want to do a bit of traveling as well and have a camper van. So
definitely, and that's it. You've consciously made decisions and worked out what you need to do. And I think that's something I hadn't done previously. I just let life drag me along, and you know, that's fine.
And there's nothing wrong with that. No, not at all. I think
at some point, if you've got something you want to do, you need to have a think about how you're going to get there, because otherwise, if you don't have having a goal, but B, how am I going to get to that goal? Break it down into steps, and that's what you've done, and that's what I've now done. But
I wish I'd done that when I was in my 30s and 40s.
But you can still have a plan now. Have a
plan.
Whatever you want to do.
Funeral plan.
Yeah, get up that roof. Get up that roof again.
Yeah, get up on that roof. Yeah, she'll get 130 grand or something. That'd be nice. James, no, but I do set myself goals, and I have, you know, I think we've probably got about the same as you on our mortgage, and I think ours is about 135 grand. You know, and that's the main thing is just smash it. I want to get that paid off.
Yeah.
And just, you know, have some money. I mean, me and my wife are both asthmatic, so ideally I'd like to get a place in the warm somewhere in Spain or Gran Canaria or somewhere like that, where my lungs are going to love it for 6 months of the year. Spend 6 months out there and 6 months back here.
Well, that sounds like a pretty damn good goal.
Yeah, you know.
Now we've got to work out how we're going to get you there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm not going to do it by winning the lottery because someone else won that. So,
well, worst comes to worst, we're going to have a professional photography masterclass when Lee comes down anyway.
Yeah, well, I've got to remember to take my camera because I've had it 5 years and I still haven't got I'm scared to use it because I think I'm just going to use it on the wrong settings and all that. And it's like I say, it's a Panasonic Lumix GH5. It's a good camera. It's got a Rode Video Mic Pro on it. I've got the Gorilla Pod and everything, and I don't use it. I was going to use it for my YouTubing as well. But like, my phone is so good now that I'm just thinking, why would I want to carry that about when my phone's so good?
So,
you know.
So obviously we'll wrap things up. Thank you so much, Lee.
Yeah, cheers, Lee.
But what one word of wisdom, if someone's listening to this right now and they've listened to the end of the show and they're thinking, you know what, like this reselling thing could change my life. You know, actually, hang on a minute. I could do this and this could help my mortgage. This could be the difference between me getting rid of my credit cards, which is what it did to me. And that's how I've ended up going full time. Someone's listening to it. What one word of wisdom would you say to them if they're thinking of doing it? What would your one piece of wisdom be that could get them to just go, you know, I'm going to do it?
Yeah. Well, there's no could change your life. It has. Well, it has changed my life. But that one word I would say is research.
Like it.
For me, there is so it doesn't have to be just looking through at solds and stuff like that, but that does have a massive impact. Spend a little bit of time or research your education. Educate yourself so that you can make better decisions. Making better decisions means you make more money. Means you have more time.
A lot of people do. A lot of resellers do that by watching other resellers like yourself.
Reseller videos,
like Chatty Pete. You know, you're very knowledgeable. Chatty Pete, he's wicked with clothes. Like you say, luxury pickers. You know, there's plenty out there, and they all like. None of us know everything. I always say that. None of us know everything. We're all learning. You know, and like you learn little bits and pieces from each person, and you're gonna have a nice little bank of knowledge.
And that's the thing. If I hear people saying, "Oh, I've got a rubbish memory," I'm lucky. I'm blessed to have a very good memory. I can remember things, stupid things. It's ridiculous, but I've got a good memory. If you don't have a good memory, when you're watching a YouTube video and someone picks up a Rab coat like George Ross did the other day, I didn't know about Rab. What did I do? I wrote it down. Then
Grab yourself a pad.
Get a pad. Have yourself I don't know if I've got one handy. Have yourself a notepad. Literally, the only thing that goes in there is research. There you go.
There's my diary.
Have it. Split it up into clothing, this, that, the other. When you watch a video and you hear a clothing item that you've not heard of, write it down. Later on, have a look through it sold. Research. The more you know, the more money you can make. And even things like our friend Sean Abercrombie.
Yep.
I've learned so much from Sean's.
I do apologise. I do apologise to the viewers. We were told we weren't going to swear on this show today. Sorry. We've mentioned his name. We've mentioned Sean's name. We said we wouldn't swear. Yeah, it's a swear word. Sean Abercrombie. Sean Abercrombie is a swear word. No, I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding.
We do love Sean.
No, we love Sean. I was only messaging the other day about his glasses he's picked up, and literally they sold for like mega money. But no,
he knows so much, and actually, I'm going to see if he's going to Apps Court on Sunday, and if I go, my daughter can watch the stall while he takes me around and teaches me a little bit.
And that's it. And I've learned so much from him. But again, I'll look at his Instagram. I write stuff down, and off of the back of that, I have. So I've told people before. I picked up a set of Ainsley crockery. I sold the teapot. I knew that teapot was going to be worth 150 quid because I researched it.
It was bigger than your head.
Stuff. It's massive. I sold it for 230 quid for that.
Nice.
I've now sold a lot of the rest of it, and that's gone for another 140. I paid £60. So and that's off the back of research. So
yeah, exactly.
Educate yourselves.
Research. Well, thank you very much, Lee.
Yeah, cheers, Lee.
Awesome having you on our second podcast.
Yeah, first guest, second podcast. That's amazing. So
in the meantime, I'll make you a few more cocktail videos. I've been a bit slack there.
yes, let's have some cocktail videos.
Love it.
For the Saturday Night Live. But yeah, want to thank you, Lee. Thank you, James. As always, it's a pleasure. Yeah, don't know what else to say really. We'll see you. Well, you won't actually. By the time you see this, it'll be the end of the month. So there's no point in me talking about Saturday Night Live or what I'm doing this week or what James is doing or what Lee's doing, really.
But we'll just see you on the next podcast.
Yeah,
definitely.
I hope you liked it. See you on the next one.
Thank you for having
See you
me.
later.
Take care.
Take it easy. Bye.